So how do we deal with those people we just can't stand? This is a very old question, and I don't think there's been a person on the earth that hasn't had this experience. I'm sure you go to any culture at any time in human history, and there's those people that just get us, and who knows why, right? I mean, sometimes you can really identify something clear and definite and specific, and other times you just feel like, I don't know, they bug me. And they might be somebody you work with, and they might be somebody in your family, and they might be somebody who you really depend on for something important, and day after day. And I think first thing that we need to acknowledge in this situation is the pain. And what is the pain? The pain comes from not being able to connect. I think of a friend of a friend years ago, and no matter what either of us said, the other couldn't understand it. And we thought we were saying very simple things, and the other person would say, "Wait a minute, literally, what do you mean? I'm not sure." And it just felt like two radios that were tuned to different stations. They just were taking in completely different signals. So what is that? And that wasn't even a very upsetting situation. It was very brief, but it was painful. Even just briefly, we were at a restaurant, and just that much was painful. So just acknowledging that when we don't feel connected to somebody, it's hard. Giving ourselves a little bit of a break that we're having a difficult experience. And then recognizing that when we go back into that situation, we are carrying the pain from the last time and the time before and all of that, right? So we're coming into the conversation with a little bit of a setup each time. And there's a question there about how to refresh our mind a little bit, because if I'm always coming in with that setup, it starts to become a question whether that alone is affecting the connection with this person. And we're assuming, nothing terrible happened. Obviously, there's situations where you need to actually get out of that situation. And it's actually much better to do that. And let's just take that for granted. But let's say nothing terrible did happen. It's just, you're just triggered by this person. And, here, this idea of refreshing our minds is really the basis of mindfulness. The idea of training ourselves how to come back to the present moment. And in the present moment, we could actually let go of what just happened. And we could just for a moment. It's like it's like being able to turn off the car for a moment and let it cool down. Right? Turn off the computer and let it cool down. Let the system cool down. It's not like you can't turn it back on again. But mindfulness does that. Mindfulness provides us the ability to actually stop driving this thing forward and just rest. Even in a kind of micro resting. And this micro resting keeps resetting the conversation. Resetting. Now, it may play out the same pattern again. And, we have to be realistic about that. This is not going to solve all the world's problems in an instant. And if we are in the same situation that keeps driving in negative directions, then we have to make some decisions there. But refreshing our mind, coming in fresh. Okay, the day before I was triggered, and the day before, and the day before, but what is happening right now? Right in the present moment, between me and this person. That's what mindfulness does. Mindfulness is not about what happened yesterday and the day before. Mindfulness is about what's happening now. I think of a situation years ago with somebody who really triggered me. And there came a moment where I happened on this person on a day when they hadn't slept hardly at all. And for whatever reason, they were unguarded because they were so tired, right? You know how sometimes you get tired? I mean, sometimes you can get grouchy or whatever, right? But sometimes you just feel like you cannot keep up your persona. And that's what was going on. And what happened is we actually had a really interesting interaction, and we made a connection, and we began a friendship. And that friendship continued. And it's so funny, why did it continue, and why was it so hard to find that moment? I think that's just the way life is sometimes. It's hard to find the connection. But sometimes once you find the connection, it really continues. So train in mindfulness. It's very important. These situations that drive us crazy, you think training in mindfulness is hard work? Try staying in one of those situations for a year. That's hard work. Mindfulness is easy by comparison. So train in that and see what refreshment you can find in the middle of tough conversations.